Hey there everybody, Professor Cloud here with a new video in the Professor Builds series. However, these next few are going to be single videos just to really highlight very specific games that I want to recommend from a builder perspective. These are going to be smaller games, nowhere near the scope of an Anno 1800 or a Planet Zoo or things of that nature, but definitely have the builder feel to it. These also have a little bit of a puzzle nature to them as well, so that you are not only building something, but you're also trying to solve a problem at the same time, and in many cases multiple problems. The first game that we're going to take a look at here is a game called Terra Nil. It is a game that was developed by Free Lives Games and was published by Digital Devolver. Now I'm a big fan of Digital Devolver. They don't produce every game that I like, but they are a great producer when it comes to smaller studios, indie studios, in this case first time studios, and they do a really great job, in my opinion, of doing what's right for those developers. Now, Terra Nil is what is called a reverse city builder, meaning that you're trying to fix the world and build it back up at the same time. You are not necessarily going to be focusing too much on building facilities and buildings. You will need to do so, but then you're going to eventually tear them back down again. Once you've gotten your biome to a good environmental state, you're off and running. Now, this is a small game. There are only, I believe it's 4 or 5 biomes per playthrough. And you are actually able to go back and do each biome twice. So it's not necessarily a very long game. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. The other thing about this game is that every single playthrough is completely new. You are getting procedurally generated maps for each playthrough. So what I'll show you here in a second is that you can select your profile. You can create a new profile. You can start completely over. I'm going to show you where I am in the game, having played through the game for about 4 hours or so. But then I will start completely over and show you what it looks like from scratch so that you can get an idea. Now, one of the things that I will call out here is that what I show you will not be everything, because many of the tutorials that they walk you through or the mechanics that they walk you through are only available in the second and third and fourth biomes. So it's not like you're going to go through the first biome and go, okay, great, I know exactly what I'm doing, let's go ahead and move on. That's not the case. In addition, there are some difficulty levels that you can set for yourself, depending upon how much of a puzzle you really want to make this to be. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at Terra Nil as Professor rebuilds the world. So the first thing to point out here is, if we look at the select profile, as you can see, I already have a profile of 24% complete. That's not necessarily indicative of what's available, because you may not get 100%. Now, of course, if you're a completionist, then certainly go right ahead, but you can also create a new profile. Now, if we go back here, this is the profile that I have selected. We can go to the world map, and we can see each of the available biomes. The first biome was down here. Second one was here. This is now the third one, which I have not started. And then this will eventually be the fourth one, but of course they unlock in consecutive order. Now, if I were to go back and click on either one of these, I would be able to continue their gameplay. One thing to point out, though, is you'll notice that there are 2 options here, and one of them is locked. It shows how many biomes I've restored within the particular continent, how many particular animals I've discovered. That's something that happens throughout your gameplay. And, of course, the animals will help the environment of that particular continent, thereby making it better overall, and therefore increasing the percentage of completion for that particular continent. And then there are also climate thresholds achieved. Those are, let's call them sub-objectives. The main objectives are to, slowly restore the balance of the environment for that particular continent, but then there are certain other climate thresholds that are designed specifically for that continent. So, for example, the climate thresholds down here in the south are going to be dramatically different than the climate thresholds up here in the north. So they're going to be designed specifically for where your continent happens to be located. But you can absolutely start completely over again with a completely new restoration. So using the exact same profile, I can completely start over if I want to. However, let me show you what it would look like for a completely new profile. So we're going to do new profile. We're going to jump to that one. And as you'll notice, we've got none of the available options for any of the things that I just showed you. But I do want to show you the gameplay options. So there are preset difficulties. They start with Gardener, which is basically helping you as much as is humanly possible. So you do not have any control over starting resources or base building cost percentages, but you can turn on or off whether or not you want to recycle when out of resources, thereby making it easier for you to continue playing the game and not putting you in a soft lock situation. You get actual objectives that will help you move forward in the rebuilding of each individual continent, rather than, you know, you turn this off and all of a sudden now you're left kind of figuring it out on your own. Now, obviously, after you've completed all of the continents yourself, you want to do a completely fresh playthrough. This is probably a great thing for veterans to do once they've completed everything. Tutorials, whether or not the game will help you move through the game. There is a Zen node, which removes resource requirements, which means you can just kind of go and do whatever you want. Sandbox mode is the best way to describe this. And then contextual hints as well. Ecologist is kind of your middle of the road, where you are getting objectives, you are getting tutorials, but you're not getting recycling, which means you are going to have a resource limit to help rebuild that particular continent. Environmental engineer, no help whatsoever, but you still have to get the job done. You'll also notice that the number of starting resources is different. The base building cost percentage is now 130% rather than 100% as it was for Ecologist. Ecologist is what I did for my first run, if you will. You also have the ability to go ahead and set customs. So you can set the specific things that you want for your particular gameplay. As I said, I'm just going to go ahead and use custom as for this particular example. Let's go ahead and click on new restoration and let's see what this game looks like. Beginner's Guide to Eco Restoration. This book serves as a guide to the intricate process of restoring an environment from a wasteland to a thriving ecosystem. The process is not always easy, and even with this guide, you will need to experiment to understand exactly what needs to be done. In the pages that follow, you will find descriptions of the regions, flora, and fauna you are likely to encounter. The book also contains blueprints of machines and structures that will help you in your task. If you are successful, you will eventually no longer need this book when that happens. I ask that you pass it along, that it may serve someone else. Good luck with your journey of restoration. Now, small little thing, just to really add to the eco-friendliness of the game, your mouse pointer is a leaf. Alright, let's go ahead and close. There are a variety of approaches to wasteland reclamations. What's yours? Gardener, ecologist, or environmental engineer? We're going to go ahead and, of course, select ecologist. Starting resources of 1,000. Your base building cost is 100%. Tutorials are enabled, as is the building unlock objectives. So to begin with, some basics: pan the camera by moving your mouse cursor to the edge of the screen. Yep, there you go. Alternatively, you can press and hold the middle mouse button to try it. You can also pan with WASD. There we go. Finally, try zooming in and out. Oh. Any wasteland reclamation project should start with a turbine. Select and place one. So this is our first building. And just so doing will cost 75 resources. So remember, we started with 1,000. We are now currently at 925. And it provides electricity. Now that you have electricity, you can clean the soil. Try to fit four toxin scrubbers as far from the turbine as possible. Okay? They have to be within the zone of the electricity so that they can connect. And as you can see, we now have actual soil. So this was basically rock. And each one of these is costing us 50. Okay. Some buildings can be rotated with R or the mouse wheel. Select the irrigator and try this now. Okay, so the irrigator is now going to turn all of this into grassland. We'll try and put it as centrally located as possible. Unfortunately, I can't really put it in the center because the wind turbine is in the center. We'll put it, So the rotation kind of gives you the best coverage that you can possibly get. It is either a L shape or a big long horizontal shape. I am going to go with the L. Because I'm actually losing a little bit because of the rectangle. You'll notice there's a red section up at the top. Means that I'm not getting full coverage. So I get 164. You'll notice the plus 164 over the top. A clean soil provides the perfect place to grow greenery. Greenery provides resources which are used to create buildings. Construct 3 irrigators on the clean soil. And they actually tell us which way they want them to go. Alright, there's 180. That gives us the best coverage. But I'll put them exactly where they want. And we have grass. And by the way, you'll notice that that plus 80, or in that particular case it was plus 175, gave us back resources. So we spent resources to repair the ground. Now we're actually increasing the available resources that we have. Okay, so there's the next one. This is going to be plus 127. Going to put us back over 1,000. And then the last one will go here, and this will be a horizontal. And we're going to get 106 out of this. Now we're at 1129. Now the one thing to keep in mind here is we were only able to cover the soil that was repaired via the toxin scrubbers. The rest of the hard pan is still hard pan. If ever you are lost, you can always look in the handbook for hints about what to do next. Greenery goal. Increasing the landscape's greenery is your primary goal, but remember to keep an eye on your available resources. To begin with, get the greenery target to 30%. So the next thing would be to set up another area of power. And try and get as much of this. Okay. Do the same thing here. Yeah, I'm not going to get full coverage, unfortunately. course, I can do multiples. I don't need to do just one. We'll put one there. God, that almost covers everything. There is a lot of overlap, as you can see. Okay, let's go ahead and get a scrubber in place. And I'm going to try and go like this. There we go. Oh, that got us to 29. Let's put one more here. And do the same thing. There we go. Now this is just to get us started. As you can see, we're now expanding out. And there's the entire first continent. You'll also notice down here we've got 3 more buildings that need to be unlocked. We need to get to 92 more greenery tiles before we can get the next building. So that's how the objectives are going to be provided to us. You'll notice we've got water locations, but we haven't been able to fill them yet. That's going to be coming here in the future. So let me go ahead and put in some more power. We'll put power here. Here. Okay. And we'll do the same thing there. Okay, let's put you here. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Missing just a little bit. Okay. Do the same thing over here. Try and get some more coverage. Alright. Let's get in some scrubbers. Let's go horizontal here. Okay. And there we go. We have our first water pump. Pumps water to fill dry riverbeds. Riverbanks are cleansed by the water. Range is extended by the elevation. It does require power, so you cannot fill up your your turbines. So we got 3 out of 6 on this one. This would be a great place. Shows you exactly where to put it. It has to be on the side. Also, the other great thing about it, or the other thing that is important, is trying to get as much coverage, of course, as possible. We put you there. That also puts some greenery along the edges. That extends. Very nice. Let's go back to you. Now, the one thing to keep in mind here is as I put this greenery down, the red sections that it is not going to affect, unfortunately, you cannot have it do it recursive, meaning that if I were to put a turbine right here and then start expanding and making the soil fertile after the greenery's been put in place, it does not mean that the greenery is going to have any effect afterward. You actually have to have already done the soil before the greenery will have the effect that you're looking for. So, with that in mind, let's think about where we want to put. Make this horizontal. Okay. Now, I got to start being a little bit careful about my resources. My resources are running a little bit thin. Not tremendously so, but considering where we started with 1,000, we've only got 594. All of that can be seen up here at the top. We need another 104 in order to unlock the next building. So, what I think I'm going to do is put a turbine here. And then put one there. One there. Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time covering up here because I don't have that many places to put. There's no way, because I don't have the power, there's no way I can cover all the way up here to the top corner. Alright. Let's go. Okay. New building. The calcifier. Crystallizes nearby greenery, creating rock, thereby giving us the ability to produce more, or have the ability to drop in more power. So, for example, up here, I have no ability for power. So if I can get a water pump station up here, or even better, put a calcifier, say, right there, it gets me some rock, and thereby I can start to expand out. Then I can do that. Unfortunately, I can't get up here, but that's okay. We've got rock up here, so that's good. So that's how we would do how we implement additional scrubbing. Okay, let's go back down here. Let's put power here. Uh-oh, we're getting a little low. Alright, let's do some more greenery then. Oops, that's... there. Sometimes the best way forward is to start afresh with new knowledge. No, I'm not going to retry. Let's see. No, I'm not ready for that yet. Okay. And then let's go horizontal. Trying to get the best coverage. All right, we'll go there for 119. The next thing is to reach 75% greenery. That's going to give us the next set of buildings. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, I am going to be able to cut chat. Good. There we go. And then we will do... Okay, there we go. Next building, Excavator. Creates a new riverbed, but poisons the land around it and then can be rotated. So it gives us new availability for rivers if we need them. At the moment we don't, but it is something to think about. We're probably going to need to do a calcifier up here to be able to get some power. We would have power up here, like I could put power right there and expand on out. But that's how things are going to work in this particular game. I just wanted to kind of show it off a little bit. I really enjoy it. One thing, it's maybe hard to tell over my voice or under my voice, but I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is absolutely incredible. Mostly what you're hearing right now is the ambiance music, which is just very low-key and chill. It's very much a chill game. Very, very much a chill game. You can take it at your own speed, obviously. If you want to limit your resources, you can, based on the different difficulties. But you're basically rebuilding. Now, one of the things to keep in mind here is these buildings are not here forever. The whole point is to fix the environment of the continent. So once you have gotten through all of the available objectives, then you will absolutely tear down all of the buildings. And that's actually the last step of fixing each of the environments. So if we look at our handbook here, these are the objectives. So we got 3 biomes that they want, 6 animals to find, and 7 climates. These are the different regions, the different buildings, the animals, some indexing, so information about each of the individual buildings. So there's the turbine, toxin scrubber, and so on. This is great information, and it really helps you learn how the game is played. Now, I could just sit here and keep on playing and would have, by the way, a fantastic time. But let's take a quick look at what one of these looks like having been completed. So we're going to go back to the main menu, and I'm going to use my second continent from my main profile, because it is the most complete, 57%. I've made it through all of the objectives. I found 4 out of the 6 available animals. And I created all 4 of the available biomes. 4 out of 6 animals, 8 out of 11 climate. Oh, that's interesting. They restarted it. Oh, I was hoping I was going to be able to continue it. Yeah, you'll notice here, though, this actually is still worth me showing you. They add in temperature, they add in humidity as part of the available requirements. That's not something that you're going to see in your first continent, but you can also see how it affects different types of growth throughout the particular continent, how it affects, in this particular case, the animals as well, affects jellyfish, affects crabs. So based on that, you're going to be able to get additional information. Here are some optional goals for the overall location. And these optional goals will help, in this case, for example, crabs populate the beaches, jellyfish returning, things along those lines. Here we've got migratory birds. So if we can get the temperature up over 15 degrees Celsius, migratory birds will return. Therefore, one of the bird types that you're actually looking for, or animal types that you're looking for the particular objectives, will absolutely be available to you. So as you can see, I got all four biomes, and got 4 out of the 6 available to me. But because I clicked on it, it basically restarted the region. Same thing would be true if I went back and showed you my first continent. The last continent, or the third continent, is the polar continent. Shows you 4 different biomes that you need to be able to create within the overall continent, and then you can see the 6 different animals. Let's go ahead and jump on into it so you can see what this particular continent looks like. Generating the map. Every single map is procedurally generated. So, geysers and lava flows make this region perfect for geothermal power. You'll need to melt the polluted permafrost in order to clean the ground beneath. Solar amplifiers will help increase ambient temperature and melt the snow. So we need to create 4 biomes. There are 6 animals and 11 climates. So again, temperature, humidity, and now we have a new item called Toxicity, which affects the ice, affects butterflies, migratory birds, fish, snowfall, and aurora. So here are all of the sub-objectives that we need to try and create for specific areas. Now, this doesn't... One thing to keep in mind here, I didn't mention this. This does not mean that you need to have the entire continent meet all of these. That's not possible. But there are possibilities for specific areas. So, for example, we have a big body of water here. In order for us to bring in any kind of pelagic fish, we need to make sure to reduce the toxicity of the body of water. And there's that there, reducing the toxicity to below 15%. So that's going to be key in this area here. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and start into this particular area, because if I do, it's going to introduce you to a huge number of buildings that you've never seen, and you're probably not ready for. But at the end of the day, this is such a chill build and reverse build environment repair game. As I said, I'm a big fan of the soundtrack. I actually bought the original soundtrack. Very, very chill. I can't speak highly enough about this game. This game is available on all of your major PC providers, and then it is also now available on the Nintendo Switch. I have heard rumors that they are working towards a mobile version of the game for like your iPads or your iPhones. I don't know that that's true. I looked on the website, Devolver Digital's website, and I did not see where that had been made available yet, so maybe that's still in the future. I think this would be a great game for mobile devices because of the ease of which you're just dropping a building into a location and then letting the game do its thing after that building has been put in place. So I think it would be very easy for touch type devices to be able to work. So hopefully this is a game that you'll be interested in. I definitely recommend you going out and buying it. The game is only $25 on Steam right now. If that maybe feels like a little steep because it's not that long of a game, remember, you can do multiple playthroughs. You're going to get procedurally generated maps for every playthrough. Therefore, it is not always going to be the same. And if you're just looking for something chill, to sit back, enjoy some music, click around, see what happens when you do that, this is a great game for that. Again, it is Terra Nil by Free Live Games. That has been published by Digital Devolver. And this is Professor Cloud with his build series. And as always, if you have been enjoying the content, please make sure to hit the like button. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Check out Terra Nil. It's great. Talk to you soon.